Welcome to your Scorpio horoscopes for the week of the 14th through the 20th of April. And we have nothing going on in Scorpio this week, at least no planets or anything to influence anything. Focus continues to be on those you love this week, which means either those that you love are continuing to get in the way of your plans, or you're really looking forward to spending time with those that you love. And actually, what's interesting about either way is it really comes down to our choice in terms of how we perceive the people around us. And it's actually very interesting to sit and think about and study for yourself. Sometime when you have some time to do that. I've been married for 30 years, so almost 30 years, I should say. This year will be 29 years, so I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, but pretty long time nonetheless. I've been with the same person, and I have to say that half the time I'm just absolutely infatuated with him still and absolutely in love with him. And I worship the ground he walks on. And I've gone out of my way to find hotter guys in crowds and just can't do it. He is by far the hottest man in the world to me. And the other half of the time, he is the biggest pain in my rear that you could possibly ever have. And I don't care for the choices that he makes sometimes, and he gets on my nerves sometimes, and he does this really annoying things sometimes. And, now that I'm getting into my middle-aged older lady, he's really hot, and I don't want him anywhere near me. And temperature-wise, because I'm always too hot these days myself. So it's how I feel in the moment, any kind of negative feelings that I'm feeling are usually fueled by something in the background, something else that's going on. Whether it's my mood at the time, maybe it's something that he did, maybe it's something that he didn't do, maybe it's something that I didn't do, it could be a lot of things. And when I'm in love and turn into a high school girl who's just infatuated again, that's influenced by something else also. Maybe he did something, maybe he didn't do something, maybe I didn't do something. So we really it's amazing how much our feelings about people have to do with our feelings in the moment. And if I'm infatuated with him and he does one of those things that's annoying, it's not so annoying, you know? Whereas if I'm already mad at him and he's doing that annoying thing, it's like, oh, and on top of it, you're going to do that. Oh my God. It's like the worst thing in the world, right? Bottom line here is that our feelings are everything. And it's really important to see what or how our feelings may be influencing our reactions to our partners. This is a really good way, actually, of utilizing this Mercury retrograde activity. We have one more week of Mercury in retrograde in Aries, and it will bring up these situations that frustrate you more, which gives you more opportunities to be able to understand, is this them really, or what in me can I not let go of that is amplifying my frustration in this particular thing? We all have ways of communicating with each other, and especially if you've been in a relationship with somebody for a really long time, you fall into communication pattern traps, communication patterns that do not work at all. It always winds up in an argument. Nothing ever gets done. Nothing ever gets resolved. You just spin around and around and around in a circle for all eternity, which is really frustrating. This week, give yourself an opportunity when that comes up. One, to identify how you're playing into it, because that is really important. Everybody, when they have problems with somebody else, they point the finger at somebody else. I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. It's them that has the issue. That's never true. There's always something that you are doing, maybe because you're defensive, maybe because you're offended, maybe because you're annoyed, whatever. We all react in the wrong way, at least once in our life, but usually multiple times. Okay. So it's a good opportunity for you to identify that, see where you're doing that, put a stop to it, don't do it anymore. And it is also a good idea or a good time to be able to identify what it is that they do to trigger that. Not because you want to point that out to them and say, don't do this anymore because it triggers me. You can, but it doesn't always work out in your favor. Okay. You want to identify what they're doing that triggers you so that you can work through that trigger. So you don't go to the automatic defensive response, which starts the same fight over and over and over again. This gives you an opportunity to be able to have a conversation rather than have an argument, to come to a compromise rather than neither one seeing the other's point of view. And this is how relationships grow. This is how relationships develop. This is how it's supposed to be, supposedly, although there are no rules. But people fight with each other constantly because they don't change the way they react to each other. It's these instances that give you the tools that you need to change this problem and possibly find a solution for it. And that is growth. That is evolution of the relationship. So that's what I have for you guys this week. There is fun in it. It doesn't sound like it's a ton of fun. It sounds like a lot of arguing. No, not necessarily. I'm not saying that, it's nothing but arguing all week long. There's an element of that. The rest of the time, you get to spend enjoying each other because you're not so busy mulling over what happened throughout the entire week. That'll take up all the rest of the time that you're not fighting. You want to enjoy your time with each other, and coming to these compromises and involving in the relationship does help to provide more opportunities to enjoy each other. So that's what I have for you guys this week. I'm Melissa Bruce, Heavy Metal Psychic. I will see you guys next week. And in the meantime, you guys make it a great week, and I'll see you next week.